Welcome, board game soloists, to Always Game Solo. And today we're trying a live stream of this game, Regicide, which I have posted a playthrough and probably a review of on the channel. But I wanted to have something easy to play that would let me, first of all, make sure that I could fit everything in the screen, because what I didn't think about was the fact that I'm using my phone for the camera, but when I record board games, I use my widescreen camera, and nothing but the native camera app will access my widescreen lens. So this is way zoomed in way closer than I would prefer. Um, I'm also trying to figure out how to see your comments, because so far I do not have. Okay, I might be figuring it out. I'm trying to use my tablet to be able to read comments, and it's not. They're not showing up over there. So that's awesome. I'm sure that this is making for some thrilling viewing. Like, why? I don't know why it's not showing me. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Hey, so I literally have chat on on the screen behind me because it's now showing up on my tablet. I have no idea. So if you say something, maybe if you are watching and you want to say something and see if I will see it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This feels like a failure already. Okay, so we're gonna play Regicide. This game is awesome. I do have a special deck for it, but you can play it with by downloading the rule set and just using poker cards because this really is just a themed poker deck. Um, you're going against the corrupted royalty with your commoners, and you've got an army. The royalty have been, I guess, kind of infected by an evil enchantment. So as you beat them, they will join you, which will be necessary because you're going from jacks to queens to kings, and they're getting tougher as you go. Um, each type of card, each suit, gives you a special bonus effect along with doing the damage of the number. So hearts allow you to take cards from your discard pile and shuffle them, or and put them, shuffle them, and then put them in your army deck. Diamond allow you to draw new cards into your hand. Clubs allow you to do double the damage of the value on the card. They're like barbarians with the huge clubs. And then spades have shields, and they will block damage done to you. The trickiest part, though, is that you can't use those powers against a royalty that has that suit. So that can get you in very tight spots, especially the diamonds. That is the easiest way uh, that I've found to lose, is to get into a situation where you have to top off and you can't, because when you play diamonds against a diamond royal, it does nothing. Okay, well, we might as well keep this farce up and go ahead and play at least a game. Um, this is telling me that maybe. Oh, for the love. This is telling me that maybe figuring out a better way to attack, like move my game table over to my computer, might be the way to go. But I don't know. Okay, so uh, I guess I already have these shuffled. I usually do. I keep my cards shuffled. So shuffle up the kings. You put them on the bottom. Shuffle up the queens. They go next. Shuffle up the jacks. They are the first in the castle to face your ire. Okay. So you get a little. This is pretty affordable, the Regicide deck, and I play it a lot, and I like what it adds because it makes them look like little characters. You get one reminder card. This is the side I use because it's the one that I sometimes need help remembering. You get a couple jokers. When you're playing solo, what these jokers do is they let you draw even though you don't have any diamonds, and that is essential when you're playing solo. I guess it's less so when you're not. I don't know. I've never played it not solo. So let's go ahead and shuffle up. These can get really clumped, especially because you've got the ability to play combos of low number cards, which then lets you take like the benefit from every suit in the combo, as long as the combo adds up to less than 10 to 10 or less. Well, I guess 9 is the highest. Because that would be, you could play 3 threes. Okay. So it is possible for them to get clumped up. It's one of those games where being an obsessive shuffler is a good thing. And I'm remembering to check every several minutes to see if anybody's done anything. Push the rules off. Actually, I keep the printout because I actually prefer just the front and back printout to using the little rule book that's made, to be of a size that it'll fit in the deck. Okay, so let's see what we drew. Oh my god, that's a lot of clubs. And we have to remember that no matter how good of a play we see with our diamond, we cannot do it because we absolutely have to use it at the right time to be able to draw up. Okay, so Jack of Spades is first. So that means that we can't play anything that'll allow him to, or that will stop him from hitting us, because he's the shield guy. See how these characters have little shields? Well, they end up being like child-sized at the low numbers, which is cute, a little depressing. That they're being sent to the war. By the way, I have a cold, so I am probably going to be hacking and sniffling. This should really enhance the already top-notch experience. I'm also talking to a corner of my phone. I'm hoping that when I listen to it, it doesn't sound too bad. What I'm realizing is I actually probably could plug in a microphone, because the only reason I am forced to use the on-camera microphone is that it will only, the official camera app will only work with the actual phone microphone. If I plug in a microphone, I don't get my wide angle. Well, I'm using the YouTube app, so wide angle is lost to me anyway. Okay, that's enough grousing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take him out hard and fast because we can't block his damage. So the 10 gets doubled. You see, she's a bad butted barbarian. So that does 20 damage. 20 is the health that the Jack has. Now, because we did the exact damage, he goes on top of our army pile. They call it the tavern pile, and then we discard. I don't call, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's our army. Okay, so let's see who goes next. Now, you notice I'm not drawing. You only draw when you play a diamond, which is how this game gets so intense. Okay, so Jack of Hearts. The hearts are kind of like, they're almost like your throwaway suit. You are going to eventually need to play hearts and get your deck built back up, so you should do that when you get the opportunity. But and I'm sure probably everybody else, ends up using them a lot to like absorb damage. Okay, so I want now what I'm being torn between now is I'd like to get him exactly, which mean playing a 9 and the 2, now this 9 becomes an 18, and the 2 tips it over to 20. But, and that gets exact, which means he gets put on top, so I get him immediately to use. But the other thing I could do is I could focus on blocking damage from him, because that would block 6 damage, so he would only get 4 through. But the problem with that is that I don't have anything current in hand that would cause this to add up to exactly 20. Like, I could then finish him off. Let's see, well, I could play that, and then that, and then that. But I'm going to be eating an extra attack, so that's probably not worth it, because I will take 2 sets of damage instead of just 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. You always want to play your spades first if you're doing a combo, or not, well, it's not a combo, but if you're taking them out with more than 1 card, you want to play your spades first so that when they attack, you know, that amount that they can attack gets diminished. So we're going to do that. So now this will block. This does 2 damage. He has 20 though, so we still have to do 18 damage. This will block 2, so he gets to attack us now. And he does 10 minus 2, he'll do 8 damage. So I think I actually am gonna just, this is a really not an easy card to just toss out. Is that what I do? No, I'm gonna do this. So I'm throwing away 9 damage because this 8 damage card is really so much more useful than the 6. And then you've got the 3 of hearts, which at this point is worth nothing, really. Okay, so I did that. So now I'm going to do this, which will play the 9 of clubs, which does the 18 damage. And that finishes him off and puts him on top of the pile. Okay, so we'll see who we're going to go up against now. Oh, great. Great. Oh my god, that's bad luck. I should have thought about that. There's a 50-50 chance of getting the jack of diamonds, because what that means is that I can't refill. So he's going to hit me. How much is he going to hit me for? So I can play this. The way to do this, to be able to play the diamonds and not have to use one of my jokers really early, which you do not want to do. Like, you definitely want to hold those in reserve, because the queen does 15 damage, the king does 20 damage, and you have the same size hand that you're having to discard these points out of. So it can get to where when you get hit, you're just getting knocked around, and you're going to need to refill your hand in an emergency. Well, I can see one way that I could do this, which would be to play my 6. That's going to leave him doing 4 damage, because this will block 6 of the 10. Now, I could finish him off with this, but if I do that, that means I'd need to discard this. If I discard this, then there's no way to draw any cards back into my hand. So I'm going to use this card to... That warrior absorbs the damage. I play this, and then the next step is that I get to enact the effect of this, which is to draw 7 cards. So the number on the diamond does matter. You don't get to just fill up your hand. These are linen finish cards. So they've got a nice feel. And I drew no diamonds. I drew no diamonds. So I am going to end up having to use a joker. Okay, so now he activates and he does 4 damage. on. Let me run the math on this before I just toss that out. I cannot believe that. I didn't draw any clubs or any diamonds. That's a weird hand. Okay, so he does 4 damage. And I have done 13, so I need to do 7 more. So actually, I definitely need to keep this because this will get me the exact number without wasting it, because that would kind of be a waste to use the 7 of spades right now, since this kills him, so he's not going to be able to hit me back. Okay, so there we go. We finished him off. Oh wait, yeah. So I had to discard something though. So I'm going to discard that for the 4, and then I'm going to play the 7 of hearts. So that means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's exactly what my discard pile is. So that goes back in our army. He goes on top because we got him exactly. And then that goes in our discard. Okay, so 1 left. It is the barbarian. The jack of barbarians. The jack of clubs. Thankfully, he doesn't do double damage. Just because, like, if they had their own powers instead of just negating powers, that would be a terrifying thing. So I think that this is a good opportunity to use this jack, because we can do it without taking any damage. And then, so he can't hit us because we've got a 10 shield against his 10 attack. And then we'll use the 10 of hearts. I guess we'll put these under here. We'll shuffle. Okay. So if I sit up really high, I can actually see when comments come in on the phone screen. So I guess that's good. All right, so these get discarded. He goes on top. And okay, so here we go. Let's see which queen we get first. The queen of diamonds. Well, guess what? I don't have any diamonds. So you don't impress me much. Okay, so she can do 15 damage, but first thing we're going to play is this. So the animal, your little animal buddies, they get added on, and they just, first of all, they add 1 point to whatever it is, and then they also add the effect. So now, not only do we get to put our cards, okay, we'll shuffle these 2 cards up. Playing a lot of hearts. Under the deck, we will also get to take 11 points of shield. So she actually only does 4 damage. Not that it matters, because we only have 1 card in our hand. Okay, so we're going to use one of our jokers. Let me refresh myself on the rules of playing the jokers, the jesters. Okay, solo play. Set up the game per usual, but place the 2 jesters on the side. A jester can be flipped to activate the following powers. Discard your hand and refill to 8 cards. This does not count as drawing for the purpose of enemy diamond immunity, which we are suffering from right now. Since you have 2 jesters, this can be done twice. You're allowed to use it at the start of step 1 before you play, or at the start of step 4 before you have to take damage. Oh, okay, so I need to, actually I can't just discard this. I have to draw up to 8. So it was good that I'm blocking the damage. I have to play at the start of step 4 before I take damage. So either before you play a card or before you take damage. Okay, so now I get to draw 7 more. That's not good. I certainly would have rather taken the damage on this and gotten to draw 8 cards, but that's actually a pretty decent card, and I only have to take 4 damage, so hopefully there'll be a better candidate. Wow, okay. So have some good diamonds. And no hearts. Luckily, we've been topping off our deck as we go, so we're not in any sort of desperate straits. Right. Dire straits, I guess, right now. Okay. So, we do still have to take that 4 damage. This little combo here blocks 11. She does 15, so 4 make it through. So what is it going to be? How about our Jack of Diamonds? No. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. So, if we want to finish her off neatly, we need to do 19 points of damage. What a delight. What a delight. 19 points of damage. That's very, very even and easy to do. Now, if we play right now, if we play a spade, either of these, we will fully block all the damage. So then we can play whatever we want else at our leisure. Like she will be completely shielded off. So let's consider that. 11 plus 7 is 18, which would mean that we would need to do 12 more points of damage. Do we have the ability to do 12 in our hand? I don't think that we do. Oh, wait. And yeah, because that will do double. So because we could just finish her off right now with this Jack of Clubs, because it'll do 20 points of damage, and that'll be 31, and her health is 30. But if we want her at the top, as opposed to going in here and eventually, hopefully, working her way up, then we need to try to do 30, not 31. This is why this is such a fun game to have chosen for on camera, is you get to watch me move my fingers slightly as I do addition sums problems in my head over and over again. So is there a way to do 11 points of damage then is the question. And I don't think that there is because of these doing double damage. Otherwise there would be. Okay, I'm going to stop agonizing over it. And let me tell you something. When you stop agonizing over it, that's when you lose this game. Okay, you need to be agonizing over it and sitting there and clawing through the options until you see the perfect play, because they will emerge a lot of the time. And that's how you win this game. That's how this game is balanced. It is not balanced for quick, casual, non-maths play. So if I put that on there, then it's a 19. Otherwise, it's an 18. And that means I need to do either 12 or 11. And is there any way to get 12 or 11 out of these cards? So it's a 6. 6 plus a 7. No, so there's not. So instead of trying to get her on the top, I could play a diamond and try and hope to get something. That'd be a really bad choice because I need so few cards. Like 8 is the maximum. Okay, so she's done for. And that was a pretty good play, I guess, because we wouldn't be able to use that Jack of Clubs is an insta-death, insta-kill sort of card against her. So I'm thinking the first thing that we probably want to do is play our 8 of spades to try to block as much damage as possible. Okay. So that means that she does 7 damage. Now we have 2 sevens here. Which one's going to be most useful? I think this one's going to be most useful because we can use it to block all the rest, to soak up the rest of her damage with our little shields. So I'm going to discard this, which is a pretty good card to be discarding, but what you going to do? Okay, so now we can play as we like. Now we are invincible, as Sia would say. So I still can't believe that watching YouTube on my tablet, it won't show me the chat. I wonder if I log in on the browser. Sorry, just one second. Riveting. Riveting stuff here. Also, my tablet is really just for used for reading comic books, so it is so slow. Wow, this is even slower than I thought. So the only problem is that, let's see, can I see the freaking chat? No, I still can't see the chat. All right, sorry for that delay. And now we can do what we now we're back. Now I know where we are because I was at a point where I'm not going to have to discard cards for getting damaged. So I'm going to play the Jack of Diamonds because there's nothing. This would be a waste of the Ace of Diamonds to pair it up with a 3. So Jack of Diamonds. So we've done 25 damage, and we get to draw up our hand to our hands full hand size of 8. So that's okay, and yeah, got some diamonds. That's always wonderful. Got too many hearts. Ace of clubs. So nice. The aces are always welcome, especially on a powerful suit like the clubs. Now we don't have any spades in our hands, so we have no defensive capability. At this exact moment, we don't need it. What we need is to be able to do exactly 5 points of damage, and we can't. Oh, that's annoying. That's so obnoxious. Okay, but I've got exactly 6 cards in the discard, so at least that might take us That takes us to 31, which is terrible, but it does mean that I get to take the entire discard, shuffle it up, and put it under the deck for later. Okay, so she goes first, then they go, then we see who we are facing. The Queen of Spades. Okay, so suddenly not having spades in my hand doesn't seem like nearly as big of a deal, so that's nice. Can we do... How can we do exactly 30 points of damage? I can do 20 points by doubling it up. Now she's gonna smack me back for 15, which is gonna hurt. I'm thinking I'm gonna end up losing a card that I wish I hadn't, no matter what. Okay, so if I play those, then that is 20. Then she's gonna hit me for 15. So that's the obvious. That's obvious. That's 11. And then I guess the 6. Yeah. I think that's the play. Because then we can play both of these, which is real brazen to just burn through diamonds like that. But it's how we get her on top of the pile, and she could, with her ability to stop damage, she's going to be very useful to have once we get into the kings especially. Okay, so we've done 10, so now she's doing 15 to us. So, yeah, 11. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to... That heart lets me put this under there. And I didn't re-explain this, but because the animal is on here, your animal friend, both of these count. So heart power for 10 and club power for 10. So this 10 ends up being 20. Okay, so then we take 15 and some change, but then we play this. I don't know if that's smart. It is, because now we're not going to get hit again. So I do think it's the play. Also, now it's exactly 30. Points of damage. So how did we draw? Well, we did good. We did ourselves very well. Very well for ourselves on spades. A handful of low numbers here, but the good thing is that we've got the 4s, which we can actually play 2 of them. We can also do that with the 2s. We could play more 2s, but we were not granted more 2s. Okay, anyway. She goes on the pile. Let's see who's next. I keep having to wake up my computer, which is my only guaranteed way of seeing when somebody has talked to me. Okay. So, got the Queen of Hearts, so our hearts will have no effects. That's not that big of a loss, though. So the first thing we want to do is play a nice big spade, a shield, to soak up damage, right? That I think I can do without agonizing too much over the choice. Now I could do that. So okay, so let me agonize a little bit over the choice. The reason is because the 10 is the obvious choice because it's the highest, but I can also play 2 4s. Now this counts as 16 damage and 8 damage reduction. So is there a good way to get 16 damage? So is there a good way to get 14 after that? So we can play that and then that, and then we're completely protected. And we need 4 more, and we could play another 4 unless we have to discard it. So if we play this, we'd have 8 points of defense, which means that we'd have to discard something worth 7. Let me lay this out so I can think a little bit. So we could, I don't want to discard the 9. Now we could discard these 3. I actually think that this would be, so that would be our 7 points of damage. You gotta, we gotta let our little friends take the brunt of this attack, maybe. I don't know, but this is our only diamond too. Gee, that is such bad luck. I didn't think about that earlier. I don't know how I didn't notice that right away. We want to use this 4 to do the last 4 points of damage. Because this is 16 plus 10 plus 4, then she goes on the top. So I guess we get rid of this 9 because we're going to hope that that 3 draws something useful for us. I mean, it will. It'll draw a queen, right? Because we've got a queen on here. I can't remember which queen. So we just cast off a 9 shield, which is pretty freaking wild. So let's play this. Now we are invincible. Now we have 18 points of defense, and she only does 15 points of attack. So we can do as we like. And as we like is to play that 4 of hearts. We can't actually play our 2 2s because that doubles it. So this would be an 8 for damage and a 4 for heart for restocking the army. We go to the graveyard and restock the army. Okay. So that is a perfect little play. I mean, as far as, you know, we did the exact amount of damage that we needed. So we're going to get 2 queens on this next draw. Let's see what we're playing up against. Oh, that's going to hit hard. So we're going to have to play a 3. And then we're going to have to deal with 20 points of attack. So here we go. So we're drawing 3 cards. Okay, now we take 20 points of damage. And the only way to do that is to either give both queens or to give over our 4 of diamonds, which is the 1 diamond that we drew, which is the 1 chance that we have to draw more cards, which kind of means that I should have just run the hand out and used the Joker, because then I wouldn't need to sacrifice one of the queens. This is the worst. Yeah, so now He does 20. This counts for 15, which means we have to make up 5 more. That doesn't do it. So that does it. Okay. Well, that was no good. So now we play that, and it mostly protects us. And now I discard. Yeah, because you have to discard when you play the gesture, right? Discard your hand and refill to 8. Okay, so we are in deep waters with no more jesters. Which means that if we do not have the exact right setup going into the King of Diamonds, we are going to feel a lot of pain. Okay, so we have to get rid of 5 points. Okay. So you can see now I've got a little over a third of the deck there. Maybe exactly a little over a third of the deck in the discard. So now it starts to get dangerous when you start wanting to discard every heart whenever you get hit discarding hearts. Okay, so let's see. We can block some more. We could block 4 more. It doesn't matter. I guess we block 4 more? Okay, now we have to discard 1, but I'm not going to discard that. So I'm discarding a heart. Oh, I need to draw 4. I need to draw 3 because I shouldn't have discarded this yet. Okay, what do I have? Okay, these aren't useful now, but they will definitely be useful in the future. Okay, now I discard something. So what we are looking at currently is I have done 3 plus 15, 18, 20, 22 points of damage. So, and we have 14. Oh wait, that wouldn't have worked. I discarded that, and I think I was like doubling that up. What was I doing there? Oh wait, no. No, yeah, that's right. I had to discard, and it could have been a 1, so it could have been that one, but that wouldn't make any sense. Okay, so we're at the right spot. So I only need to be able to block 1 more point of damage to stop his 20, because that's 15, and that's 19. But then I need to do 8 more points. So I can finish him off right now, but do I want to? No. So I'm going to play that. So now we are completely hidden behind our shield wall against this king who thought he was so tough. And I'm going to play this, finish him off, put him on the top of the deck. Oh, no, not put him on the top of, not put him on the top of the deck yet, because I need to draw up. And I can't draw 5, but I can draw 2. Wow, that was a whole passel of clubs. Okay. So he goes on top here, and he will be very, very, very useful in the near future. Okay. What I should really try to do is make sure that I always have 2 diamonds in my hand when I refill my hand. Well, have 1 diamond left in my hand. That gets hard to do when you're absorbing damage. Okay, so I cannot play to refill my army. So I'm going to try to keep this ace in the hole. He's going to do, unless I play this, he's going to do 20, but even if I play this, he's going to do 15. So I play that, and he does 15 damage. What does that look like? That looks like these 2. Then I play club for 20. Not good. Not good. There's no way to stop him from just clobbering me. Okay, so I think at this point I'm going to just try to keep cards in my hand. Like, I think I'm going to play this even though it doesn't get used except as to add a point, because I just need that space. I don't think I can sit there and reserve a space for after he's gone. Okay, so I draw 5 more. And I got 1 more diamond, so that's great. Like, I have this king of clubs, which I want to save, because that's a 1-shot knockout. But let's calculate this out, because he's going to do 15 points of damage here. So how are we going to take our 15 points of damage? All right. 15 points of damage. You know that the 7 hearts is on the chopping block. You just know that that is true. And I think that the 8 of clubs is the other. Let me just make sure. How many points do I need to do? Okay, so I've got 16 points. I've done, so 5 points of protection. I've done, not 16, no. I've done 14 points of damage, so I have 16 points, I think that's what I was going to say, left to do. And I can do that easily enough with that 10 of clubs, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I discard that. And now it is my turn. And this will put the final smackdown on him. It will not land him at the top of the army, but it does keep me from taking any more damage, which is a very good thing. Okay, so this is how we are still having hope. So that would be bad. That'd be real bad if I didn't have this king of clubs here. So that was a very smart play on my part. I'm going to give myself props now. Whatever sacrifices I had to make to get the king of clubs onto the top of the deck instead of buried somewhere within, very smart because king of clubs does twice that damage. Twice the 20 damage, which is 40, which one-shots the king of diamonds. So we're gonna do that. So we play that, and there we go. Okay, now we have, this is the most intimidating of all of the cards, I think. The King of Spades. A real frightening character. And his, like, I guess, porcelain mask. Okay, so we cannot withstand a single hit from him at this moment. We need to get our hand drawn up. And this is the perfect card to do that with, I guess. Because, well, it doesn't waste anything, but it does leave us 3 points further from finishing him off. See, that's sort of trade-off. Like, do you want to waste 3 points of drawing cards? Or do you want to do 3 points more damage? I'm going to do 3 points more damage right now. We're just going to go all out. If I lose by 3 points of damage, I would end up feeling like I'd done a real bad job of judging efficiency versus safety. Okay. Yeah, so let's... Okay, so there's no way to play anything that's going to slow him down. He is going to batter us to pieces brutally, efficiently. So what we're going to try to do is just take him out. Wish we still had this king of clubs in hand, but we don't. Okay, so he's going to do 20 damage. And I guess the best way to get there is with these. That's 21. Okay. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We've got this. So, okay, so we get to draw 4 more cards to fill our hand. Hopefully, we may even beat him with an even number. Oh, yeah. That was a good draw. Okay, guys. So now he does his 20 points of damage, right? So this is, well, I guess we want to do exactly we want to show off, end it with a flourish, and do the exact amount of damage that we need. So we've done 30 damage, we have to do 40. So we need to have a way to do 10 damage left. Jack of clubs would not put us 10 over. So we're going to be real blasé. And we're going to discard our jack and our 10. that Jack of Clubs is an absolute beast, so that's pretty wild. But now we're gonna play our Jack of Hearts, and we even get to put like 10 more cards in our deck, and then you're out of here, buddy. He goes. He enjoys our army. Okay, so we won. Now we won a bronze. How is that determined when you're playing solo? How many gestures did you use? If you used 2 in one, it's a bronze. If you have used 1 and you win, it's a silver. If you use none of them, it's a gold. And I think I have won at least once with a gold. But that was one of probably just one of many plays. I don't think if I've won more than that, times than that, without using a gesture, it may be 2. This game is it's a mathematically precise game, and it is balanced to take you down to the very last of your reserves, as you saw. That actually was definitely not the worst. I have clawed defeat back by figuring out the exact right play with a last hand that I absolutely could not fill up. And I've also lost by like a point in the exact same way. So Regicide is a very exciting game, which, once again, you can play with the instructions that you can download from Board Game Geek and a deck of standard playing cards. I think usually when I do this, if I do this again, I will play for longer than an hour, but I'm not feeling good today. I'm also not loving the setup here. So we'll see. Live board game plays may not be a thing. There hasn't been any chatting going on, so there's really no difference between me just recording this and uploading it raw and, unedited, except for maybe fixing the audio. That may be one nice little treat that I do for you all, is run the audio through a processor, since I'm speaking directly into a corner. That's what you can't see. One side of which is glass, which probably echoes even worse than the regular wall off to this side. It's really good for light, except today's pretty cloudy, but even so, it still is really good for light. But I think it buzzes pretty good when my voice hits it. So maybe the live streams will be reserved for Doom, which I have had some opportunity to chat with some people through that, and that was a ton of fun, and also easier to set up, and also an optimal way to show you Doom, whereas this is clearly a suboptimal way to show you video game because of how low the camera is, because I can't use my wide angle lens. Unless I end up researching it and figuring out that I actually can use the wide angle lens, but I don't think that's the case, because I think that the software just doesn't know how to find it when it's not specifically made for the phone. So, yeah, let me know what you think about the setup. If you'd like more live plays for some reason that I can't think of. I have a lot less time is the reason I was deciding to do this, and but I can solve the issue the same way with just doing very minimal editing on videos that I record. Which then doesn't bring the drawbacks that the live stream does. I always set this up beforehand, and then I never trust that I set it up beforehand. Yeah, so you just have your kings, your queens, your jacks. Now I need to not watch this video too closely because I might be able to figure out from watching myself shuffle which card is where. Oh, I wanted to show you guys something though while I've got you here. You know I like playing different miniature skirmish games that repurpose miniatures from other games. Well, you know, I love comic books. I've read comic books since I was a little kid. I read comic books most nights as I fall asleep. So I have all these minis of comic book characters from Marvel Zombicide, Marvel United, soon to arrive, hopefully, DC Superheroes United, and Deceased. So, hey, I want those in a skirmish game. But, you know, all my skirmish game stuff is medieval. It's for fantasy. Well, I showed you one little urban printout that I'd done, but I wasn't fully happy with it. But this I am very, very happy with. So this is a modular little brick shop. I'll probably paint some. I'm not much of a painter, but I will. I use gesso, which is what you use to prep for painting, so it will cling. Because otherwise, if you just paint directly on this, it'll flake off. But I've got white gesso and black gesso, so I can mix it, make a light gray. Go over that, do the awning, and put some. You know, I'd put a little color on there. Hit the garage door with some metal-looking gray. And you see that these fit perfectly in 4 inches by 4 inches. Can open them up, and I'm probably going to put a draw in, like with dots, a little 4 by 4 grid down there. On the when I play ones where I want them to go into the building, that won't be all of them. Sometimes because this is modular, I can slot in 4 walls so that there are no openings. But you can see even the awning with the little door is modular. So this is very efficient use of PLA. I printed out the stuff from the same person who made Modulheim, which is my favorite set for terrain for fantasy. It's like ruins, buildings, either buildings or ruins out of stone. You might make a dungeon, you might be buildings outside. They're really great. And they have, like this one on Modulheim, the fantasy one. I actually requested. I said, "Hey, these things are exactly," because they're 10 centimeters. To me, I was like, "Wait, 10 centimeters is 4 inches by 4 inches. You could make this a grid." And he did. He gave the ground grids, which you also can use for the tops of the buildings. So it makes it really easy for moving stuff around without ever having to measure. I love that. But I tried his apartment set, and it uses too much filament in the smaller buildings, and then the larger buildings are big enough that, and this is not anything to do with him, his set, it's very nice. But the big buildings, which would, I think, be the best way to use it, and then they have furniture, and the furniture is attached to the wall, so you can actually drop it down through the print plate so that you don't print the ground on it. Like, one thing I thought about doing was doing that on this and not having this, but this ground is so minimal. You see how thin it is? Well, you can't see it too well. You can if I pull this out. You can see how thin that is. That it actually holds, I think it'll be worth it to hold everything together and make it less fiddly for moving stuff around and setting stuff up. And making sure you don't snap any of these things, because if all that's holding it together are if that's loose, and so it can sway like that. I think that these will support your stuff off. So anyway, I decided to print the bottoms on these. On his, they're much sturdier. Um, you can sink the bottom through the plate, and in these apartments that he's got, you can. It's got tubs and like toilet in the bathroom. It's got cabinets in other rooms, and it's all attached to the walls. So you can drop the floor out and still have all this cool stuff. For me, right now, it doesn't work for my 3D printing because my 3D printer, if I put something past the halfway point on the print plate, there's a little something that bumps, and I can't see what it is. And it doesn't do it very often, but it's passing back and forth, thousands of times. And all it takes is for it to do that once and to shift a little bit, and you can ruin your whole print. Very frustrating. I guess I'll have to look into it eventually, but right now I'm just avoiding it. I don't need to print very much huge stuff. Now, so these are the stairwells, though, from his set, and you can see that they're very nice. Um, they're a little thick, but you see what I'm talking about. Like, this had a floor, but I dropped it through the print plate, and they fit in 3 inches by, I guess, 6 inches. So that's cool. Now, these are supposed to go alongside one of the apartment buildings. But I decided I'm going to have like a little set of these. I've got a third one, and so I will definitely use these. And so it was still a good purchase, and I would recommend it if depending on your needs. If you can print those big buildings, it'll be, I think that they're at least this size. I think a little bit wider, and that, well, so they might be 6x6. But I'm super happy to have found this, and I also found that he's got these ruined buildings that'll be perfect for some war gaming and like post-apocalyptic or World War I or World War II, any urban warfare where the place has gotten demolished. But this is for my superhero skirmishing. So anyway, got some stuff to look forward to. I hope that you stick with me through that. I've been able, with the Doom live chatting, I've had a lot of fun talking to a handful of my more regular commenters, and so that's been fantastic for me. It makes it really fun. I like playing Doom. First of all, I play Doom all the time. It's because it's so low energy. It's like kind of on days when I've been really exhausted from work and then from being sick, I still sometimes manage to slump in my chair and play a little bit of Doom. And anyway, chatting with some of you on those live streams has been a lot of fun. It doesn't seem to bother people too much. It hasn't been hit with too many dislikes, so that's great. So I'll probably keep that up. I don't know about the board games. I will be doing board games, obviously, but I don't know that I will be live streaming them. Let me know what you think. Okay, well, I have rambled enough. Have a great rest of your day, and remember to always game solo. I don't know how to... What a fiasco this has been.